right, let's just get right into this one. As the Bruins lose 4-3 in overtime to the New York Islanders, a game being played at TD Garden in front of fans, 2,200 fans. It sounded more like 22,000, at least to my ears. Maybe that's what I told myself too. But Razor, I don't think it was any doubt, in my eyes at least, doing the game, that this game changed the tenor, the tone, the feel, whatever, the vibe, whatever you want to word you use to describe it. When the Bruins didn't score on the double minor power play for high sticking, when Bergeron got clipped in the face, Mayfield in the box, and not only do they not score, they didn't get a lot of great chances. They got a few, but then they give up a goal right after it expires. And it gave the Islanders that, hey, fellas, you know what? We didn't play that well so far, but we're right in it. Let's go back and play our game. And that's exactly what they did.
It was the turning point of the game. There's no question. And it's odd because typically either, and yeah, I bring it back to the Bruins. Typically you see the Bruins score on that 4-minute power play, make it 3-0, run the score up 5-0, and everything's great in Bruins land. And or they're on the other side where they're the ones that kill that 4-minute off. They score right at the end of it and say, all right, fellas, we haven't played well, but we're coming back from a 2-goal lead on the road. And that's what the Islanders did tonight. And they stuck to their game.
Big time.
They do not deviate in any way whatsoever. And again, Bruins, it's a chink in their armor right now where they're deviating a little bit, and Coach Cassidy talked about it after the game that they're getting away from their game at times, and tonight it cost them.
So teams get away from their games for a couple of reasons. One, personnel, okay, whether it's injury, new players, whatever. Two, confusion as to what they are, right? Three, you get guys that just go renegade. I don't think we're at renegade or rogue, maybe.
No, that's Buffalo Sabres territory. Rogue. You don't want to be in that one.
I don't think we're even close to that.
You're not coming back.
I think they know what they want to be. I think just right now, this team. I look at the personnel at times, and it's just this interesting mishmash of. We think they're better, but are we getting to the point now where maybe we have to question if they are good enough or they're better than what they're showing? Now, with that said, Anders Bjork, Charlie Coyle, Karson Kuhlman, until he was injured, I thought they played pretty well in this game. I thought Krejci looked pretty good in this game. He had a little jump here and there, too. I didn't think the top line was so scintillating again, but okay, here's what it is. But I guess we're at that point. I mean, are the Islanders just a better team, or are the Bruins maybe just not as good as what we think they should end up being?
It's I mean, you can't. It's hard for me to sit here and say the Islanders aren't that good, but when I watch the game, I'm thinking the whole time that if Bruins end up with the 4 seed and the Islanders get the 1 seed, I would feel very comfortable if I'm in that dressing room playing.
By the way, the last couple of years, other teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins have said the same thing.
Thought the same
Only
thing.
to get their
No, I know. They lull you and they make you feel okay about it. And I know it doesn't make sense. It goes against everything that we've seen this season. Goes against everything we saw in the bubble. To your point of the Islanders going to the conference finals, but it just feels like the Bruins should be able to close a game like that out against anybody, let alone this team. But for whatever reason, they don't. And again, you have to start giving the Islanders credit, and you have to start questioning whether the Bruins are good enough, and do they need another piece? Do they need something else? And they have umpteenth injuries. Their starting goalie goes out of the game tonight.
All right, you want to go down? Let's go down that
Brandon
road
Carlo.
right now. Let's go down the Tuukka Rask road. Okay. Did you think he was hurt at the end of one?
Yeah. So. Yeah, for sure. There's no question. It's his back or something. It's his back or hip or something.
But did you see anything? We only saw everything after we scoured through the tape. I mean, I don't know if you saw it while watching it.
No, I didn't see it. It seemed as though it was oh man, I thought I was ready, but I'm not. And that happens. I know, like I came back from a growing injury, and yeah, I'm
Mhm.
good. I'm good. I can play. I can play. I'm getting through practice, and then 25 minutes into the game, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not ready, and it sets you back another extra week out of that recovery, and that's what that looked like to me. It looked like, on top of the fact Tuukka got 5 or 6 days, so he was away from the team practicing on his own. He probably felt really, really good doing that. And being on his own, and then you get into a game and you ramp it up. You have some energy, you have some nerves, you have
Mhm.
some extra, and it flares up. So that's what it was to me, is that it was like, oh, I'm not ready actually.
So what concerns
Um,
me is obvious that when at first we were told it really should be anything, should just be minor. Now it's more than that. Now it's lingering. Now it seems to
mhm.
be more than lingering. I'm not saying chronic. That would not be fair. That wouldn't. We're not at the chronic level yet. But we are at legitimate injury now, in the sense of the way that he gimped off after the first period, which, like, the joke, like I joked on the air, I'm like, that's like me getting out of bed after the 1 or 2 day a week that I skate, and I'm not making light of it. I mean, he's an NHL athlete, but he was
no,
in pain.
but it, and you can make light of it, because the reality is that's how good you have to feel to play goalie in the NHL, or play any position, but especially goalie. You can get away with having a bit of a sore back if you're Patrice Bergeron, or broken spleen, all the things that
Hmm.
he's had. You can go out and play and provide a service. As a goaltender, you have to be 100%, or very close to it. You can't really get away with having something that is ailing you in a way that limits your mobility, because you can't change your game. You can't turn yourself into a defensive minded guy on the line. You can't turn yourself into the guy who's going to be a good penalty killer. You have to do the exact same thing, and we've seen how smooth Tuukka is, how athletic Tuukka is over the years, and that comes because his body's
Hmm.
so good. He feels good, and when it doesn't, that limits him in a big way. So certainly, it's a cause. It's a big pause for concern, because on top of all of that, there's 30 games to play in the next 45
Yeah.
days. So now you start looking like you have to really manage it, and you have to really understand what the problem is.
By the way, the people that are in the medicine or medical field, or maybe we have a few orthopedic people that are listening, are quickly looking up what to do for a broken spleen now, as you have found a new category for the spleen injury. Can
Yeah,
you
I'm a
can you
junior
put it in
guy
a
again.
cast or not? You better not be a junior guy. You got NCAA coming up this weekend.
Yeah,
You got to
that's
bring
right.
out some of those post grad classes. Um, all right. So should Halak have had that overtime goal, that first shot? I don't want to take away from Letty's speed wide, because it's beautiful, or his good shot in stride, but not looking to place blame. Analysis, I think he should have had that. I do.
Yeah, it goes under the glove. That's the new 5 hole, per se. That's the new under the blocker. That's the new 13 inches
Hmm.
glove side. Guys are shooting there, and it's hard for goalies to corral it, I think. And yeah, it looks even worse because it takes so long to get to the rebound. It just slides through, and it's an overtime, and that's the game winner. So yeah, he should have. He would like to have that back, and that's frustrating as a goaltender to have the game end on something like that.
What do you do now? What do we see for the weekend? Because Tuukka's not playing. My guess is Tuukka's
Well,
out for a week again, maybe more,
minimum.
which is
Yeah, minimum.
bothersome, considering I don't even care who you play, because it's fast and furious coming up. You got Buffalo Saturday, Devils Sunday, Devils Tuesday. Do you go Halak Vladar Halak? Do you go Danny V against a team that hasn't won in, like, I don't know, like 80 games, whatever it is? What is it now? 16, 17? What, I don't remember what Buffalo's
Hmm.
stretch is.
It's yeah, they're up to
16,
16.
0, 14 and 2. And by the way, they're gonna win eventually. It may only be
They,
one,
I know you don't want
but
them. They're
they're
gonna
gonna
win.
win one
They
game.
have to win at some point.
So do you put,
Yeah,
with
they
that
are.
said, using that theory that they are going to win eventually, and money would say soon they will win. Do you play your starter, Halak, against them to get yourself into a better position for those, I'll call it guaranteed 2 point, easier 2 points, not a guarantee, easier. Or do you put Dan Vladar back in there because he has experience against them, and or against a really good team in Pitt, and you say, look, you did it against Pitt, you can do it against Buffalo, and then you save Yarrow for Sunday.
No, you go with Yarrow, then Vladar, then Yarrow, and the reason is not Buffalo, and it's because Yarrow is the starter, and you don't put your starter on the
I
back end
agree.
of a two
I
and
agree.
two. That's
I
why.
couldn't. Yes.
That is why. So Yarrow plays Saturday, Vladar goes Sunday. It wouldn't matter if it was Buffalo Washington or Washington Buffalo. It doesn't. You go with the guy the first game, you win those 2 points with your starter, and then you go into the back to back and have the young kid try and find a way to get that win on that afternoon
and
game.
you get
as
your
well.
team in
So
front of you playing
that,
tighter, a tighter
yeah,
D.
absolutely.
More.
And listen, it goes to, and we talked about it here. We talked about it on Nesson about how important that win from Vladar is, both not and for the organization, for this team, because you're gonna, and we said you're gonna need this guy again. And I know Coach Cassidy said we're gonna play Tuukka and Yarrow down, but it wasn't realistic to think that these guys are gonna play 30 games between the two of them in 45 days. You're going to need that extra
Right.
guy. And
Right.
now this is it came to fruition much earlier than I thought, but I knew Vladar was going to get more than one start
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you get him. I play him Sunday too. Dale and I were talking
Yep.
about it. I think on or off air, and I'm like, I go Halak Saturday. You go.
Yeah.
Your big
Hey,
guy. You get him in.
absolutely. And to the point too, like that was a nightmare for Yarrow to go in
Yeah.
tonight. He just had to sit in a hotel, sit in his
Yeah.
house for the last 6 days. He came off a good win in Buffalo. He was feeling good. He had a practice last night at 7 p.m. in a game that he wasn't expecting to play. That's a nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare. That's one of those ones where after that first goal goes in, you're just hoping the night ends as soon as possible. And you're hanging
Like
it.
I didn't think. How do I say this the right way? I agree with you about that because I watched that Bailey goal on the give and go in the third period, and I like Josh. I've known Josh since he was drafted, and I think he's a hell of a player. That was a good shot, but I'm like, I felt Yarrow was just off a teeny bit on that one too. There, he didn't
Yeah,
power out to that.
No, he pulled back out of it a little
Yeah,
bit, and
like
he didn't. Again,
yeah,
it's not, you're not comfortable in that game for
yeah.
Yarrow. You have to. It's just like that's
All
awful.
right. Well,
Awful.
I think there's some other guys at times that weren't as comfortable. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't love Pasternak's game. I didn't think that. I guess Marchand, Bergeron. I mean, look, they were on the ice for that goal against the first one that led, staying out too long, doing too much on the power play, and they got called out by the coach after the game.
Yeah, and to go to that, those guys aren't getting called out for just one play. This is cumulative as well when it comes to those guys and Bruce finding a way to give that shot. That's an ongoing thing that we've seen over the last 15, 16 games now, where not always, just not where they expect them to be, and not when it comes to points, not just, and I think it goes to directly at 88. That's my, that's my thought, is that a play like that, when he directs it at all three of them, most of the time it's directed at 88.
Yeah, yeah. I will say this though, they all decided to change at that point after trying to do a little too much and stay on a little too long. And so while I agree that 88 gets a lot of it, I'd say on that one they all get it. You could see it happening too. Oh my God, you could just see it happening in the arena. It's like, oh, you kidding me? Come on. Some guys I thought that played really well. Bjork, really good. Not just the goal. He was moving. Can he replicate that enough? I don't know anymore. I don't know, but it would be nice if he could. I didn't mind Charlie Coyle's game. I know he was out there for the goal against in overtime. I mean, it's hard for anybody to match up against Nick Leddy when that kind of room and space. But
Yeah, that's where I mean you tell the 2010 Eagles forwards you're not turning and skating backwards.
no,
Angle that
turn,
guy,
skate
angle
forward.
that guy, and you could see you saw him get caught, and he knew
He
he was. I should.
Grizzlick,
Oh boy, I
Grizzlick took him.
turned.
I mean, Grizz tried to catch him. Charlie's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, you got him."
Yeah.
Or try, please.
Yeah,
But overall, look, at least he attempted. He had 3 missed shots on net, but at least he attempted.
Yeah, he got to the
He did
net.
get to the net.
Kuhlman scored. He was there.
I
so.
love Stephen Kampfer's game. I respect the hell out of what he's doing. I can't imagine. You know, his wife and young daughter stayed in Florida due to the issues that they have, the situation. Doesn't want to make sure not to make them susceptible for anything COVID related, and so he's been apart from them for a long time, and he's kind of floated around between Taxi Squad and the NHL team.
Yeah, and he's taken those. Yeah, the 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 guys on the ice skates that are no fun. Absolutely, a lot of respect. And
4 shots.
when he scores the goal, you can tell how much the other guys respect what he's doing and how he's making a living.
So a couple of guys. I mean, I'm wondering what we see for the lineup. I hope Karson Kuhlman is not that bad. My fear is that he blocked that shot with his hand, and he's had issues before, and that's not good. Can Zach Senyshyn come back into the lineup? I don't know. It's rhetorically asking. I don't know if he's ready yet. I know he's skating again and playing, but could he come back in? My guess is that Oscar Steen, would get another opportunity, bring him back from the Taxi Squad, and why not? Especially against Buffalo, right? I did not like Jakub Zaboral's game.
I knew you were going
Did
there.
not like it. I thought that he was mishandling pucks. Granted, I'm telling you right now, the ice was choppy. It was not easy, but that played into the hands, or I should say the skates and the sticks of the Islanders, because their dump and grind game fits right into not having to overhandle the puck. Whereas the Bruins, I kept thinking of us talking about wanting to see them change their game a little bit when they put it into areas, Razor. That's when they got chances.
Yep.
When they try and stick handle their way out of their zone and into the zone, that's when they screwed themselves up in that at times.
Well, and especially tonight, they're up 2-0. Why, that now you can really go simple. Now you really make it difficult and really wear them down and kind of try to counterpunch any of the Islanders opening up a little bit. Zaboral on the third goal. Why is he not stick on puck behind the net?
And not only that, I know he's on the
is he-
wrong side too. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That was my thing, like a random little defensive thing. And to your point, he wasn't sharp all night, but on that play, he's trying to cross-check a guy behind the net as he's cutting in front of the net. Like that's a major miss by a defenseman who's got to go stick on puck, try and get the puck at that point. You're not working the body 2 feet away from your net.
You're doing everything to keep the puck from getting to the front. Krejci couldn't get to it either when Wahlstrom got it, and the kid's hot. Wallstrom's hot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And again, a kid, right? A 20-year-old kid who's figuring, I get it. He's a top pick and he's a first rounder.
So are some of these Bruins that we're talking about, first round picks.
Exact. That's what I mean. Guys need to step up and get on a roll like that and really distinguish yourself.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they have a choice really with no DeBrusk and no Corrali. If they have much of a choice to change the lineup besides Steen and Studnicka, do you bring Jack back? You might. I could see him maybe coming back in against Buffalo, maybe on a fourth line type thing. Come back in.
Yeah, take McKegg out and put Studnicka in.
I could see that.
Seems reasonable.
But I'm curious if Carlo, I don't think he's ready. And I don't think Lausanne is just quite ready yet either. But if either one's ready, I would say I would take out Zaboral. I would. Hey, go watch. I thought some of his puck decisions early on in the game were very curious.
Yeah, and Kampfer might allow you to do that, right?
For now.
Or you give Zaboral another chance by putting him with that Carlo or putting him with that Lausanne and allowing him to tighten his game up.
Maybe.
out on the ice. But yeah, he's gotten closer than what he was 3 weeks ago when life was
Yeah.
good for him.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. J.G. Pageau loves playing the Bruins. I think the guy who's a sleeper on the Islanders, and I've thought this way for the last year and a half, is Anthony Beauvillier. He's that third line guy that next thing you know has 28 goals, something like that. You know what I mean? One of those. He's that fast. He's very, very skilled.
He's so quick.
And he
good hockey
sense.
sense.
He makes that. He's that second, third line, whatever you want to call it. I don't really believe the Islanders have a top line. I don't. You know, between you got Nelson and Bailey, and obviously Matt Barzal, doing different things. But I mean, they look for their balance. That's the way Barry is. But that and that's what's going to give, I think, the Bruins fits, or has given them fits, is that it's not just your Barzals who are beating you. It's all of them. I got to tell you something. I think Pelech and Pulock, the killer peas on the back end, especially Pulock, Ryan Pulock, I think he is a hell of a defenseman.
These guys are underrated, huh?
Yeah, so really, really, really good there. Anything else you want to get at before we wrap this one up? Anything that stood out to you?
No, it's just the again, we're on the roller coaster that is, and you got to imagine the just talking about Lozano and Carlo getting back in the lineup and not having those guys on a consistent basis. And you just talked about the killer peas. And I'm not going to put Carlo and Lozano in that territory at this point, but how important it is to have a couple of defensemen back there that are NHL defensemen that you count on and know what you're getting every night. It goes a long way.
Yep.
And it creates offense to that identity that the Bruins are, what they are, and we go all the way back to when you talk about personnel. I think that's so hard I think that's what's hard for the organization to really identify what they have because of the amount of injuries they have, and to make a rash decision bringing guys in when you've gone through 12 defensemen already.
It's interesting. I'm leaning away from them going to the rental market, and I'm looking at them to try and get I'm leaning more towards them maybe trying to make a home run, big hockey deal. Big multi-piece deal over the rental. I'm not convinced. I mean, of course, I guess it depends on who is the rental. I don't know. I'm not convinced that a rental right now may do enough for this team and for the long run. Now, I know you're going to lose some salary after this year in some of your players. You're going to have to gain some too, because you're going to have to pay a few guys like a Carlo, who's up for a new deal and stuff. But
well, and I mean, we're not going to get into it right now about it, but you start looking. All right, well, where's Tuukka's back in contract year, and Jarl Halkin, your mid-30 goalies that are up, and they have back
problems. $7 million
that's
and $3.25. Is that what Jarl's at, or $3? I don't remember exactly. But
yeah,
so
about
$10 million
each, or combined.
So, anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if they did more of a big hockey deal. Think of like bringing in two pieces from somewhere, giving up a few of their own, but bringing in two pieces from a team that needs to shed some salary, needs to shed some players, needs a change in culture. I don't know. I'm starting to think Arizona, may have a few things. Maybe.
Look west.
Yeah, look west,
friend.
All right, so that'll wrap it up here. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Bruins lose in overtime. It is a significant point, literally the point in that they now are 3 points up on both the Rangers and the Flyers. The Flyers suck right now.
Oh, my God, they suck. Oh, my God, what a disaster. What a disaster
and they can't fire Alain Vigneault. They can't. He's got 2 or 3 years left at $5 million. But the Bruins are now 3 points up on the Rangers and the Flyers. And listen,
4 points this weekend. And 4 point. Jersey's tough. Jersey's playing everybody tough. They're playing everybody tough. So Jersey's not like the easy out now. Buffalo's 4 points in the next 3 games.
Better be.
Right. That's and then, so you look 5 out of 6 points, and life's good again. If they get 5 out of 6 points, if they get 5 points by Tuesday night, they're in a good spot again. So
they're 7 points behind Pitt. However, they have 5 games in hand. So the good news is they have 5
I
games
know.
in hand. The bad news is they got to do something with those.
They got to actually play
Right.
them. Yeah.
And the Devils much better on the road than they are at home. But let's not look past the Buffalo Sabres. I guess, you know what, I lied real quick. One thing.
hmm
I thought it was an overreaction for the league to get rid of Tim Peel.
hmm
However, I understand it because optically or audibly,
hmm
it wasn't good for the league. This is the type of thing that you know it happens. You don't want to hear it happening, though. You don't, right?
Yeah. No,
you
you can't.
just
You can't hear it
right.
happening.
You can't. And I may be a little biased. I've known Timmy for a long time. I know he is or was retiring this year too. I get why they did
I
it,
know.
but that was a bam. I mean, it was also easier for the league, I think, too, to do it to get rid of him because like you're retiring, and there's been such a
Yeah. Yeah.
mass exit and of veteran referees in the last year and a half.
Yeah, and it goes to, I mean, first and foremost, it's the sports gambling and betting, and that alone, the way that the world is trending, sports world's trending, you can't have
Exactly.
this. Number one, you can't have that out there on that, and yes, and us that have been out on the ice and skating around, we know that that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, but you can't, to your point, have it being audible. And poor Timmy, again, had been around a long time. I've known him a long time, like you, and been on the ice with him a lot, and I always liked him, always a respected ref. So not the best way to go out. That being said, he was 3 weeks away. This will blow over. This isn't
Yeah.
gonna be his thing. Social media
Right.
is hammering it for till the next time. Till tomorrow something else will happen. And but yeah, the league had to nip it in the bud, and they have to. I'm sure the refs have been served a
Well,
memo.
all right, let's wrap it with this. Do you want the game called by the book, or do you want it massaged?
No, I don't. No. If it gets called by the book, there'll be 150 penalties every game.
Okay. So you want it massaged. You want it managed.
I want it managed. I think the best refs are the ones that manage it.
I agree.
And
It's how,
I want 5 power plays for each team every night in different spots and for different reasons. And sometimes you deserve 6 and the other team deserves 2, but I want it to be fairly balanced. I don't think you can go through a game where it's 10-1.
no, I agree. The only thing I will say is my philosophy has changed. And again, I officiated for 4 or 5 years at the NCAA level, and I know these guys
Yeah.
real well at the NHL level. I just don't like it when there's a penalty in the third, and it's a close game, and either way, it's a penalty where it's a penalty, but they don't call it because they don't want to. They don't want to. We still have a little too much of that. Call it. That's what I'm saying. Manage the game. Talk with the players. Be smart about it, but just don't don't say that was a penalty in the first, but now in the third we're letting boys be boys. I don't get that. That's my only thing.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, and it's gotten way better when it
It
comes to
has.
that. I mean, you go back and watch videos. There was no penalties.
All right, Bruins lose 4-3 in overtime
Yeah.
to the Islanders. That wraps it up. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. We will be back with you. This is going to be a good one, or a big question. I mean, when do we get it out? The next one after Saturday's game. It might be late Sunday morning, folks. It might be late, if only because of schedules. Razor's got some extra work over at ESPN. He's going all college. He's going to put on that cap and gown and throw his hat in the air
That's
after he
right.
does a few days there. How about me turning down that Albany region and now with Notre Dame and everything there? I mean, I feel awful. I love working that event. I just can't do it this year. So I'm thrilled that you are representing us, representing New England there. Have fun with that. We'll do the morning brew on Sunday morning, and then we'll also have a game Sunday night. So that's going to wrap it up. Everybody have a wonderful day, and as always, try and enjoy your coffee.